The University Grants Commission or UGC has announced that from the 2022-23 academic year, admissions to undergraduate courses in all central universities and affiliate colleges will be via a common university entrance test. The National Testing Agency, which already conducts the JEE and the NEET exams for professional courses, will also conduct the common university entrance test. While it's going to be mandatory for all 45 central universities, other state, private and deemed universities who are willing can also join this system. Well, joining us now is the UGC Chairman, Professor M. Jagadish Kumar. Professor Kumar, while board results can count towards eligibility, is it correct that no weightage is actually going to be given to board exam performances in the final admission decision to these central universities and affiliate colleges? Is this now going to be based from this coming academic year entirely on the score in this common university entrance test?
You're absolutely right. The board examination marks will only be used as the eligibility criteria for admission in UG programs. The admission in UG programs will solely be based on the CUET score in all the central universities, and we are also asking all the private universities, state universities and deemed to be universities also to adopt the CUET score for admission in their respective UG program.
Professor Kumar, if the aim is to reduce the burden on students, then why subject them to 2 lots of board examinations this year plus an additional CUET in July?
See, you need to look at how the admissions are done in the UG programs across the country. In some universities, they use the board marks as a basis for admission. And we know that there are multiple boards in our country, and they have different ways of awarding marks in the 12th standard examinations. And then there are a large number of other universities which conduct their own entrance examinations. So students have multiple stresses that they have to undergo. One, the pressure to get the highest score, 98%, 99% and so on, and the pressure to write the multiple entrance examinations conducted by several universities. To replace all this, the National Education Policy 2020 has suggested the introduction of a common university entrance test.
Right.
So as part of the implementation of the NEP 2020, we have now introduced the CUET from the academic session of 2022 and 23.
Okay, but Professor Kumar, my question isn't about the overall sort of efficacy or the benefits of this common university entrance test. And of course, one test that would do away with all these other entrance tests, plus of course the sky high cutoffs, is obviously great, but the application process is going to begin as early as April, when students are going to be busy with the second part of their board exams. Board exams are suddenly not going to be worth anything at all when it comes to their actual university entrances. Isn't that, and the exam itself is in July, isn't that too little time for students who are taking their board exams in 2 parts?
Right. No, one can have multiple opinions on when it should be invited, when it should be introduced. But however, from the kind of response that I am getting from across the country, the parents are calling, the students are calling, they are saying that it's a much awaited reform that should have been introduced long ago. While you are saying it could have been, it could be done next year or next to next year, many of the stakeholders are saying it should have been done long ago. In addition to that, the pressure to get 98% to 100% will go off the minds of the students with the introduction of the CUET. And the pressure to write multiple entrance exams also will go off the minds of the students, because now they have to focus only on one entrance examination. And the questions will also come from the 12th standard syllabus as defined in the NCERT. So therefore, the students can simply...
Okay, but Professor Kumar, I mean, that leads me to my next question. If the syllabus is in fact identical to the NCERT syllabus, won't CBSE class 12 students have an advantage over other state boards who perhaps don't follow the NCERT textbooks directly? Will it still be a level playing field?
Of course, yes, because The syllabus is going to be announced soon by the NTA on their website sometime in the first week of April, and the students have sufficient time until July to prepare for this test. So therefore, you see, our country has a lot of diversity in terms of the educational boards, in terms of which syllabus they follow, but we need to have a one level playing ground and one standard across the country, so that the students are tested on a set standard, and that's the reason why CUET is following the NCERT syllabus defined for the 12th standard.
Okay, so, you know, what is this set standard going to be then, Professor Kumar? Let's talk about the syllabus itself. How is it going to work for students of different streams?
You see, there are going to be 27 domain subjects in which the CUET will be conducted. You may be a science student, you may like to take admission in BA in psychology or BA in some other subject. So you can appropriately choose 6 different domain subjects and obtain your CUET score, and depending on the eligibility conditions of any given university, you then apply there using your CUET score. And you also know that as part of the national education policy, we are encouraging in all the universities to help the students study across the disciplines. So the multidisciplinary education is another very important reform that we are introducing in the universities. Therefore, students will now have, whether they have a science background or whether they have some other background, they should be able to choose the program of their choice, provided the university announces these choices on their website.
Right. So you're saying that those who are wishing to switch streams will now have flexibility to do that under the new system?
That is what I am saying. If the university is permitting, for example, in JNU, we admit engineering students to join in MA economics. So such possibilities exist in many universities, and the other universities are also introducing this multidisciplinary education. The ability to switch across the disciplines is being introduced in many universities. So therefore, using CUET and writing in different domain subjects up to different domain subjects will provide a wider option to the students to get admission in the UG programs of the universities.
Fair enough. There are some who have worries at this point, Professor Jagdish Kumar, that, you know, this is going to sprout an all-new coaching industry overnight. You know, we talk about the quota factory for the joint entrance exams, similar things for NEET. What's to prevent a similar situation happening for CUET? And then, you know, what are the students going to do? Focus on their syllabus for their board exams, or worry once again about this common entrance test?
So let me ask you a counter question. When does coaching become, you know, a prominent educational activity? If there are limited number of seats and a large number of people are competing, you know, such as in IIT system, we have only a total of 18,000 seats or so, and 1 million students are trying to get admission in IITs. But however, if you look at the university system in non-professional programs, DU itself has 70,000 seats. So we have 45 central universities which are offering these seats. So these seats will run into several lakhs. So therefore, if you see how many students are competing for a given seat, this is much far less in the university system as compared to the professional programs. So I don't see any need for the coaching industry to sprout and then take advantage of the situation. I'm sure since we are defining the syllabus and it is restricted to the 12th standard syllabus only, and the students are just fresh writing their board examinations, I'm sure it should be much more convenient for the students to write the CUET examination without really going through any coaching process.
Okay, one last question before we let you go, Professor Kumar. What happens to minority institutions like St. Stephen's or Aligarh Muslim University for that matter? Can they continue their reservation policy even after they join the common undergraduate entrance test, or will they have to take you know, all the students who fulfill the eligibility criteria?
let me also add another set of institutions, not just only the minority institutions. There are some universities where certain seats are reserved for the local students. And there are some universities where, such as Vishwa Bharati University, where it has its own schools, 2 schools, and the students who pass out of these 2 schools, they get admission in the undergraduate program of Vishwa Bharati University. So what we are saying is that adopting CUET will not affect the existing reservation policies of the universities. It will not affect the admission policies of the universities. All that we are saying is that whether they come through a reserved category or whether they come through a general category, you admit them based on the CUET score. So to summarize, and I would like to end here, is that the CUET exam will provide a level playing ground to the students, and it's a much awaited student friendly reform that UGC is introducing, and I'm sure that every university in the country will use the CUET score and not subject the students to all kinds of stress through which our students undergo.
All right, Professor M. Jagadish Kumar, thank you very much for speaking with NDTV.